Well, hello there, everyone. Hope this finds you outstanding. Today is Saturday, July the 9th, year 2022. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor, CPA, or attorney. I share my experiences because I'm mazske finance. I share thoughts, experiences, plans for the future, memories from the past. And my goal is to try to educate you all how everyone watching this can become financially independent much sooner than you think is possible. Every single one of you can become financially independent. And please subscribe to my channel because you can get great information with my own personal perspective on things. I'm not a guru. I rose from the ashes years ago to become who I am today. So what I'm going to do today is give you a quick update on Kiavi. Kiavi is the non-QM lender who I have been using. I basically am probably finished getting conventional mortgages from banks. So when you hear other YouTubers say when the next recession comes and banks cut off lending and maybe they top out mortgages, maybe you can only get 4 mortgages, not 10 like you can now, because when we're in a recession, banks get tighter. Look at non-QM lenders. I don't have experience with non-QM lenders in a recession. I don't think they were here during past recessions. I don't think. Next time I talk to my contact, I'm going to ask them about this. But they're not a bank. They don't have the same regulations and rules and criteria and stuff like that. They don't look at you as an individual. I have not supplied a tax return. They do a soft credit check. They look at the asset. They got to get some basic information from you, of course. But they look at the asset and base the mortgage or the loan or whatever it may be off of that asset. They'll ask me some questions too, depends on what kind of mortgage I'm getting, about my rental property experience, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so with that being said, on to the update. And before I get started, I will put a link below where if you're interested in doing something with Kiavi, you can click on that link, and once you successfully close on something, you can get a bonus, let's say, whatever the term is, of $350, and I would get a bonus of $500 for referring you. So it's win-win for both of us. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost me anything. But if you successfully close, I will get $500. You'll get $350. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so now moving on to what's been going on with me in regards to Kiavi. If you can recall, several months ago, myself and Millennial Mike made 2 videos talking about Kiavi. I may have made some others myself. I can't keep them all straight. And I kind of outlined what my plans were and what I was working on, what was in progress. Okay? So anyway, I bought, if you can remember, 2 houses in Chicago. One of those houses is finally completed. The rehab is done. I have yet to see pictures of the rehab, and I've yet to have a walkthrough video of that rehab. So Dom, if you hear this, come on, buddy. Let's do a walkthrough. Let's send me some pictures. I know it's in you. I know you're busy though. So I appreciate, Dom, everything you've done to help me out. And there is a tenant who's supposed to move in soon, I think middle of the month. And my rent is going to be something like $1,650. So with that being said, the rehab's done. I've been in touch with Kiavi. I submitted some final documentation to them. Dom helped me out and submitted some pictures to them. He forgot to send them to me though. And they approved my final draw request. That final draw figure prior to their fee was $14,902. They subtract, every time you take a draw, they subtract, I forget, it's either $149, $179, $129. One of those 3 numbers, 129, 149, 179. I forget, honestly, I forget. They'll subtract that fee from there, and that's their fee. That's how they make, one of the ways they make money, I guess. And it's a draw to reimburse me for money I have spent on the rehab. So all together, I've gotten 2 draws. Because every draw, I got to pay a fee, so I minimize my draws. I got 2 draws. Grand total prior to those 2 fees was $19,402. Okay? My total rehab was somewhere $19,000, $20,000. I don't have the number in front of me. So basically, my rehab I've been reimbursed, basically. There's no such thing as free money there, right? They're just not giving me that money. So anyway, the next step, probably tomorrow or Monday morning, I will fill out the application online on the Kiavi site to to refinance what I currently have with them into a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Okay? What I currently have with them is a bridge loan. When I bought this house, I had to put a down payment down, closing cost and all that kind of stuff. And they provided the rest of the balance of the house for me. It's like a mortgage. But I didn't start paying that mortgage. They called it a hard money loan, and I've been paying interest ever since then, since March 1st. I was thinking the rehab might be done by April, but it's okay. Things happen. There's delays, etc. So we're now in July and the rehab's done, which is great. Okay? But I've been paying that interest of $617 and some odd cents, March, April, May, June, July, and I'll probably pay it again in August, I assume. But then hopefully that interest payment will stop. But then I will get a mortgage. I'll refinance it into a mortgage, which will pay off everything else, and I'll just get a mortgage. Okay. I spoke with Tanner yesterday. What we're tentatively talking about is the possibility, and hold this up so I can see it better. All in, I may be all in from the bank, like the mortgage closing cost, and did I write it down? Closing costs, that's what I wrote down. The initial money they paid to buy the house, $53,700, I think it was. The rehab money they paid me, say another $20,000 roughly. That's $73,000, $74,000. Closing cost on top of that. And then he said, if we're estimating what we think it might appraise at conservatively, hopefully it'll appraise higher. If we go with a 70% loan to value, and I think we went with $120,000 as the appraised amount. If it appraises less than $120,000, odds are I'll have to bring some cash to the table. Hopefully, if it does appraise less, it'll only be just a tiny bit less. Hopefully, it'll appraise for higher so I can get a better rate. But at the 70% loan to value, they would give me, as of yesterday, and it should stick with on Monday. He said he can lock me in. As soon as he processes the application, he can lock the rate in. But he told me a rate of 6.875%. So 6.875%. And the dollar amount we were playing with was $84,000. That mortgage of $84,000 would give me I don't think I wrote it down this piece of paper. I got it on a spreadsheet or something. It would give me a mortgage payment, I think around $600, I think. Don't hold me to that. But it would also give me $5,000 to $6,000 back in cash. So just a little bit of money back in my pocket. But then I would get a mortgage payment probably starting on September 1st is my guess as the first mortgage payment. And then it'll be a 30-year fixed rate mortgage for the next 30 years. Okay? So anyway, that house is about done. I did put a down payment down when I bought it. All in was about $20,000. So right now I'm currently about $20,000 out of pocket. So if I do get some cash back, let's say I get $5,000 cash back. I wrote down $5,000 to $6,000. So say I get $5,000 cash back. Subtract that from the $20K in, that's $15K. Everything else been reimbursed. I'd be all in on this house for about $15K out of pocket. Okay, if it works out that way when it's all said and done, but that's the way it's looking. All right, moving on. There's more coming. Stick with me, and you're going to hear a lot more, and you're going to hear some great news at the very end. Some great news. So stick around for the rest of this video. All right, moving on. I bought a house in Gary, Indiana, back in March. I paid cash for this house. This house, the rehab was done in June. A tenant moved in July 1st. Rent is $1,250. I paid $45,500 to buy the house, and I paid roughly $19,000, $20,000 to rehab the house. So all in is roughly $65K. All in, with some. Whenever I bought it, I might have paid $1,000 or $1,500 in closing costs. I don't have the figure written down. Excuse me. So I talked to him, Tanner at Kiavi. Once I've had it 4 months, I closed on this house March the 23rd. So say July the 23rd, and July 23rd is a Saturday. So probably say that Monday, July the 25th, I will do the application to get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage on that house. I will probably try to get $65,000, $70,000 as the mortgage, because that would then give me basically all of my cash back that I spent to buy this house. If it appraises high enough for at least $100,000, $110,000, $120,000. If I did 70% loan to value at $100,000, that's $70,000. If I did $70,000, I'd probably just break even that it's a free house. Just a 100% a free house, I think, without getting the numbers down to the penny. If I was to get a mortgage at $75,000, maybe I put $5,000 in my pocket. So I got not just a free house, but $5,000 in my pocket. Remember, the Chicago house is not a free house. I'll have maybe $15,000 all in by the time it's all said and done. So this house should be basically a free house, and it will put cash back in my pocket. So let's just say I get $65,000. Say worst case scenario, I get $50,000. That's still okay. That's still okay. I leave, say, $15,000 in the deal, and I get $50,000 back. That's okay. That's okay. All right. I also have another house in Chicago I bought. I paid cash for that second one. The rehab is progressing on it, but as of yet, I don't know what the time frame is. Hopefully, it can be completely finished by July, because the work's been done in that house dating back to, I think, March or April. Some work. Not as much as the first house, but some work. So, Dom, if you're listening, crack that whip, buddy. Crack that whip on those contractors. See if they can wrap that house up by the end of July or by the first week in August. Please. I've been dealing with these houses since, February, I think. So, time is ticking. I'm getting older. I'm getting more gray. So, anyway, moving on. I got another house in Gary, Indiana that I bought using seller financing about 2 years ago. And that house, I am in the process of refinancing it through Kiavi to do a cashback refinance. They will pay off the seller, so it'll be one less seller finance mortgage to deal with the seller. So instead of having 9 house seller financing, I'll have 8. So that house, I'm getting an interest rate of 6.5%, because I locked a rate in a couple weeks ago. So 6.5%. The house appraised at $160,000. That's what it appraised at. It had been rehabbed, very nice rehab. I bought it for like $49,000. I rehabbed it for, say, $12,000. So $49, $59, $62. So it's somewhere in the low 60s. All the money in on that house. But some of that was a mortgage with the seller. I put when I bought it $49,000, I put 20% down. So whatever that figure was, 20% down. So anyway, what I'm doing is a refinance at, I think that's the right figure, $96,000. I think that's what it is, $96,000. They will pay off the seller. I owe about $38,000 left on that mortgage. They'll pay that off. Closing costs come out of that. And I should get, let's just ballpark it at around $50,000. That'll come back. That should be sometime later this coming week. Maybe by Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. All right, that should happen. So when that happens, I'll get, say, roughly $50K in my pocket. I just got roughly $14,000 in my pocket for the final draw payment. When I can refinance the other Gary house, and that by the time it's all said and done, that'll be late August, early September. I might have anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 that will come into my pocket. Moving on to the next topic is referrals. Remember I mentioned I'll put a link below. Gee, man, you successfully helped both of us out. You did a refinance on one of your properties. You told them about me referring you. I got the W-9 in the other day by email. I was in the country of Panama when I got in on the email, and an ACH form. And since I've been back, I filled those out and submitted them. So probably sometime next week, I'm guessing, I will get $500. And hopefully George will get $350. That's how that game's supposed to work. I get $500, he gets $350. It is taxable as far as I know. That's why I had to fill the W-9 out. So my tax return, that's an extra $500 of income, I guess, that I will claim. All right. So if you're interested in Kiavi, please help me out. My channel's not monetized. You've noticed I'm cutting back on the amount of my videos. I'm going to stick it out for a while, but I'm getting busier and busier and busier. I'm contemplating moving to a foreign country. I got a tiki hut down there. There's more stuff coming, so I make no promises. I am sticking this channel out for years and years at the amount of videos that I am currently making. I may get back into a daily video. I may do every other day. I may back it down just a bit more. But final topic with this, with Kiavi, I asked him the question, what if Mazske decides to move to the country of Panama, either part-time or full-time? If I make that move, I can become a resident of Panama, but I will retain my U.S. citizenship. I will always be a U.S. citizen, okay? And trust me, the United States government will still tax my pension, which comes from the United States. If I ever get anything for Social Security, they will tax that Social Security because as an American, money you earn, the United States government, you can be in a foreign country, but the United States government will still tax that income. Don't you love our government? They got to get their tax money. All right, so they told me that as long as I'm a U.S. citizen, I can be in a foreign country and I can still use Kiavi for a mortgage, a refinance, a fix and flip loan, etc., etc., etc. They said what they think I'd have to do, they said every country is different, but they had someone, I think they said the other person was in Portugal, did a mortgage with them recently, and he had to do this, is that when you sign the paperwork, normally you get a notary, that they might require me to go to the American Embassy, which is in the country of Panama, and have them notarize my signatures. Embassies, I think, normally have a notary there, and they might require something like that. Big deal. Big deal. I don't plan to live in Panama City, and that's where the embassy is. If I do move there, it's a big if I do move there. But I can travel down. Panama, I'll touch on this real quick at the end. Panama is a very diverse country. Panama City has the new section with tall skyscrapers and twisty, twirly buildings, and it looks like Dubai in a way. It's very modern. Panama City has slums. Panama City has the old section. Panama City has the tourist section. The metropolitan area is over 2 million people. I just found some stats the other day. It's like 2.5 million people for that entire area. It's a lot of people around there. All right, once you leave the city and go towards Costa Rica, I think you're traveling west because the country is kind of sideways down there. But then you get into small towns, you get into beach resorts, you get into mountain resorts, El Valle, the valley, El Valle. That's a beautiful area in the mountains. Years and years and years ago, the missus and I went there when I was stationed in Panama, and we went horseback riding up into the mountains, and that was fun. That was exhilarating, especially when we came down this big hill and horses were slipping as we came down. We survived, obviously, so it was fun. All right, so, but then you go all the way up towards Costa Rica, and it's called Chiriquí. It's Volcan. It's the city of David. It's that general area. A lot of expats live there. Part of me, a little part, says it'd be kind of nice to live around a bunch of expats because a lot of them are from the United States or Canada and they speak English. So it'd be kind of cool to live around them. But the bigger part of me says, screw that. I don't want to live around a bunch of... If I'm moving to Panama, I don't mind having some American friends. But I want to live and experience the Panamanian culture. I don't want to live with a whole bunch of Americans and we Americanize that town and make it little America. No, if I do it, I like to experience the full culture. You know, I think I mentioned it. Maybe I didn't mention it. I won't. If I didn't mention it, I'm not going to say it now. So, but I got the possibility of getting some land there. And I got the possibility of building. And I've been looking at housing prices. And if we decided to take the plunge, I could easily sell, not easily, but I could sell this house I'm living in about 9 months, where I don't have to pay capital gains tax, and take the proceeds, perhaps $500,000, and pay cash for probably a much nicer house with maybe the ocean not too far there, like maybe as close as my canal is. I could build a tiki hut, aka a bohio. I could have a swimming pool, but I haven't seen pool cages yet. I like pool cages. They keep the bugs out. They minimize the bugs. But when you're in a foreign country, you do as the country does. Some quick disadvantages to Panama, because I make it sound like it's paradise. It is tropical paradise. The people are friendly. It's Americanized to a certain extent, in a way. They have a strong economy. Okay, but some downsides. They do have poverty in that country, more readily visible than it is here in the U.S. Americans aren't poor. If Americans are poor, it's more likely by choice, mental illness, drug abuse, alcoholism, and that sort of thing. And even those folks, all they gotta do is put their hand out and they can get benefits from the government. They're not poor. If you want to see poor, go someplace else. Go to Peru. I was in Peru back in the late 80s. They were poor. Go to parts of Africa. They're poor. We're not poor in the United States. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yes, the middle class is shrinking down. Yes, the rich are getting richer, but we're not poor. Don't you have a microwave? Don't you have a flat screen TV? We're not poor. Okay. So with that being said, a couple quick things real quick on Panama. The power will go out more frequently probably than it does wherever you live at in the United States. The water may go out occasionally. The roads might be bumpy. Your internet may be slower than what you have right now, or it may not be slower, depends on where you're at. You may have more animals, cats, aka cats, dogs, chickens, and roosters running around out there somewhere. Depends on where you're at. My guess is if you're up around Boquete with all the Americans, you have fewer of them than if you're down south closer to Panama City. Not south, maybe down east or whatever it's called. And there's other things like you might have heard me say you got to be patient. I might have referenced Troy Eckert last times. We'll use the word tranquilo. Tranquilo. We got to be relaxed. But if you live in Panama as an expat, you better learn how to be relaxed. You better learn how to be tranquilo. Because anytime you're dealing with the government there, doesn't matter if you're Panamanian, doesn't matter if you're American, Canadian, Australian, whatever, Chinese, and you're living there, you better have patience. Because you do need a Panamanian driver's license if you live there. You do need to register your car. And if you're immigrating to the country, you'll probably have to do some immigration paperwork. You better have patience because you'll do a lot of sitting and waiting and maybe submit something and they lose it and you got to submit it again or whatever it may be. All right, so amigos, tranquilo, tranquilo. So anyway, my mastermind group, if any of you watch my videos and you stick it out to the end, hurry up and get down here to visit me because I don't know how long I'm going to stick it out. I got a big itch to go back to that country again. The missus is still there, so when she gets back, we're going to talk more about it. She has a stronger desire than me to stay in this country, and a happy wife is a happy life, right? So we may end up staying, but if it was completely up to me, I think I would, at a minimum, go and test the waters and live in that country again at the age that I'm not at now, not in my early 20s like when I lived there before. Okay? All right, good enough. I am headed out soon to look at a $1.1 million house in this area to see what I think of it. I'm not buying it. I'm just going to look at it. Give me an idea about this house if I decide to sell it. Okay? All right, y'all take care. Stay safe. Keep loving life. Keep loving life. And tune in tomorrow because I will have a guest on my channel that is an American who did retire early and move to the country of Panama just a few years ago. And you'll hear his story. Okay? Okay. Stay safe in all you do. Mazske is signing out.